Jess, today's conversation is going to be probably one of your favorite. Actually, I know it's your favorite topic, most favorite topic on the entire planet that some people may not even know about. And I have teased that you might need to get this tattooed somewhere on your arm, on your wherever. But here's the cool part. You are so well versed in what we're going to talk about today that you don't need it tattooed anywhere because you have this thing mastered where most people do not. And just that is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Most people don't even understand what we just said with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I'm going to let you introduce what this is, Jess.
I love that you dropped the tattoo thing right off the bat because I was thinking about that as we were talking about this podcast topic. And the reason that I love this so much is because if you've ever looked at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it's a triangle. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the model,
Right.
or a pyramid if you want to go more specific. And my brain thinks in visuals and thinks in models, and that's why I am so appreciative of this process.
Mm-hmm.
So Maslow's hierarchy of needs was created by a psychologist, Abraham Maslow. And what he does is he talks about different types of needs of humans. And so his lowest level, his lowest tier is physiological needs. So this
Right.
is food, shelter, water, like the basic human needs. And then he scales up into more emotional and head-based things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like physical and then mental and then emotional,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, is how we scale this pyramid that he's created. And the reason that I think it's so valuable is because this is the framework for connecting with your ideal client. It's the framework for your positioning, for your messaging, for your marketing, for everything. And
Everything.
so when we talk Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is truly the lens or the filter through which you should run everything in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I learned it when I was doing my undergrad in education because it's used as an education model. And now that we work with coaches, I was like, well, it's basically just educating coaches, right?
Well, and
So what they teach is that you can't have a conversation at the top of the pyramid, which the very top, level 5, is self-actualization. It's your
Mm-hmm.
full potential, right?
Right.
And you can't have a conversation about reaching your full potential when a student doesn't have enough food in their house to fill their belly.
Yeah.
Somebody who is struggling with food on the table or paying their bills, or something like that, is not going to be able to talk about living their best life or being
Mm.
their best version of themselves.
Right. So
And
hold
so
on before you
that is
continue. Hold
where
on. Hold on before you
I was
continue
going to say
because
that's where today's
you
episode is
are
going
so
is
rich in this that I need to explain to the listeners first that this is a 7-part series,
oh
right? This
yeah.
this is so rich in knowledge, so deep with value that we could sit here for the next 3 hours and discuss everything in this, though we're going to break this down into 7 different parts because it's that rich, Jess. It is so
Yeah.
rich. And so what we want to do today is simply give you a blanket overview of really what this mountain is. Right? We're going to
Mhm.
call it a mountain because we want to give you that visual. Because here's the mountain, and then Jess, I want you to go to base camp. We stand at the top of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
We as if you want to call yourself a leader, great. A coach, great. A mentor, a trainer, a consultant, wherever you are on your journey of helping other people around a specific topic that you have either mastered or you have real depth in, that you can serve other people, you're standing at the top of the mountain. And so
Mhm.
what we're going to do is we're going to break down what this mountain really is in its 5. There are 5 different parts of this mountain, and we're going to go all the way to the bottom today of base camp, so you can have an idea of what this mountain is, and then we're going to teach you where most coaches get stuck.
I love it. Thank you for slowing me down. You can tell, listener, I love this. And
He
again,
does.
it's not because I'm nerding out over it. It's just it truly is the thing that can change your life and your business if you
Hmm.
have an ability to apply it as the lens through which you're looking at things. So,
Yeah.
I'm teasing Adam because he just started using reading glasses. I don't know if I'm supposed to share that, but it's a thing
Fine.
now.
Totally fine. Let me put them on for our viewers. These are just straight from Amazon. These are 1.0, by the way. Yes,
I love
1.0.
it. I love
I'm
it.
gonna
Well,
leave them
I've
right
been a
here because
glasses user since I was 8 years old. So
you said I looked
like
old.
Adam, that marks 31 years this year of wearing glasses.
Wow.
I know it's
Wow.
nuts.
I had
But
LASIK going in my 20s, so I could see far away, and the doctor did say, "At 40, you're gonna need reading glasses." Well, you know what, doctor? Screw off because I'm almost 50 and I'm just now needing reading glasses. So maybe he
that's
just did a
because you're
really
an
good job.
overachiever and it's
That's
okay
right.
and it's
Yep,
it's
that's
all
very, very
good.
true. It's very true.
But
Okay,
but
back to you.
seriously, it's like if you can put the Maslow lens on things, it's going to change the way that you look
Was
at.
that pun intended, by the way? Maslow lens? Oh, that was
Yeah,
very good,
that's
Jeff.
what I
Pun
was
intended.
getting at, is like literally it's the filter, it's the blue light filter that's, put
Mm,
on your glasses kind of thing,
mhm,
is the way that I think about it. Because when you can start looking at everything through this lens, you're going to start seeing this
mhm.
pattern show up repeatedly, and you'll start to understand why you either are really skilled at connecting with somebody because your language isn't meeting them where they are in this level, or why your messaging is probably falling flat because you're speaking to the wrong level for where your people are.
That's right.
So that's why we love it. And yes, we do use the mountain analogy because it is a process. It is not
Mhm.
something that you can hop, skip, and jump on. It's not something that you can bypass levels in. And so the mountain analogy is perfect because it's not instantaneous. It's not pick your own adventure. It is truly a process oriented situation.
Yep, it really is. Okay, so we're going to start at the bottom. Let's start
Okay.
at the bottom of level one. This is the basic part of the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And this, you all, is when it says basic, this is basic. Again, we're talking about needs.
Hmm.
This individual or individuals down here at the bottom needs the basic survival essentials,
Yes.
basic food, water, air, right?
Shelter.
That
Yeah.
shelter. Those are the things that they need from a basic standpoint. And you may be saying, well, everyone that I work with knows how to breathe. Everyone I know, work with knows that they have a house and they can go get some food. Maybe. Can they afford the house that they want? Can they afford the house that they're in? Can they
Hmm.
afford to go get food? Can they keep the lights on? We don't know unless we actually dive in deep because a lot of us, Jess, and we're not going to get into the stuck part yet. A lot of us over talk of where the client really is on the mountain, right? That
Exactly.
is
Well,
we over talk it.
we operate from a place of we've achieved something
Hmm.
and we want to look like an authority in something. And so we want to present a look good, be right situation. And
Hmm.
so we don't often like to go back to basics and
Yep.
talk about where we came from or what we went through,
Hmm.
which is the great thing that connects others to us.
Yep.
But it's because it's not the look good and be right, we don't discuss it and therefore we struggle with connection.
Yeah.
And so when we can sit there and say, "Hey, I came from $1,000 a year job and I was barely making ends meet. And through a process, through a framework, through a whatever, I have now come out to this outcome of six
Hmm.
or seven or eight figures or whatever it is." It makes you human and it shows your potential person that you've been where they are.
Right. Right.
And so that to me is so valuable to say, "Hey, I know what you're going through, been there, done that," without sounding egotistical.
Yep. So the bottom of the mountain of Maslow are the basic survival needs. Right?
Yeah.
That's what we need you to hear is the basic survival needs. Now, I've been coaching for a long time, and there are times where your clients could be at the top of the mountain and then fall off and go all the way back down to the bottom. And you've got to be aware of this to be able to speak to that specifically. We're not going to talk about the top of the mountain language just yet, but if you're at the top of the mountain using that language and someone just lost an entire pipeline of revenue and they don't know how they're going to pay their bills tomorrow,
Mhm,
you need to coach to that bottom survival level. So that
mhm.
that is the bottom, Jess, is level one is very basic survival needs.
Yeah, so those are called physiological, right? It's physically your
Physiological.
body, and right there attached with it is level 2, which is safety.
Yes.
It's feed the body, protect the body, and when we say shelter, I'm thinking like it can be a tent. It can
Right.
be an overhang on the side of a building that's just keeping you out of the elements. Safety goes another layer deeper in the fact that now you're not only protected from the elements, but you are safe from them at the same time. So,
Mhm.
we're in the middle of massive storm prep here in St. Louis today because we have 70-mile-an-hour winds, baseball size hail, and tornadoes predicted in the next
Mm.
couple hours. So,
Safety.
my little nylon tent would provide me level 1 shelter, but not level 2 safety in that weather.
Mm-mm. Right.
Okay. And so that's why level 1 and level 2 often get paired together, but really they are separate in the context of feed your body first, protect your body first, and then you have to be safe physically and you start to develop safety emotionally at the same
Mhm.
time. So safety starts to layer in a little more in terms of, okay, I am not afraid for my well being around the people that I'm with. I'm not afraid for my well being in terms of who I work with or connect with or something like that, because I
Mhm.
trust. This is where we start to see that trust develop.
Mhm.
And that's another layer that I think gets ignored. And I still consider that part of base camp because level 1 is let's put food in your backpack, right? Let's make sure you got the tent and the sleeping bag. Level 2 is okay, now we're going to make sure you have the ropes and the carabiners and the right shoes and the right jacket and the right hat and all of the things to prep you to climb this mountain of Maslow.
Yeah. And you're right. These 2 do get lumped together sometimes, and we want to separate those for you because safety needs is just use the word trust, right? And if we're talking about this through the lens of coaching, when they get on a call with you, they may not trust you yet in an intro call, right?
Mhm.
If you're starting your process and you're going through a sales cycle, and if you have a sales cycle that starts with an intro call that then moves to a deep dive call, there needs to be a safety mechanism that is in there.
Mhm.
And we have the scripting around that, Jess, that simply says, hey, today's an intro call. Today is an intro call, and it's a two-step process. So it's two-step processes. I'm going to get to know you today. And if we feel there's alignment, we're going to move to the next step, which is a deep dive. Let's just have a simple conversation. That starts to build this layer of safety. Now, let's talk about through the lens, Jess, of being a coach to someone who needs safety needs.
Okay. Well, I think that's where you have to dive into why do they not feel safe first of all.
Mm,
So it comes, like I said, it's not always completely physical safety, although it
mhm.
can be, but a lot of it has to do with emotional safety.
Yes.
And so helping them through one, labeling it, right? Identifying it, and then two, creating an environment of safety is really what you would do in a coaching situation there.
That's right.
And it's it's a fine line. I'm not telling you to turn into a therapist by any means, and if it starts to broach that space, refer them to a therapist.
That's right.
But at the same time, helping them self-identify is a huge part of coaching here, and a lot of times people hire a coach because they don't have the ability to self-identify, and they need you to hold up that mirror for them.
Yeah, that's really, really good. So creating that safety space for them in a trusting environment is massively important for not only securing a client, but
Mhm.
also retaining the client,
Yeah,
right? In that space of retainer, as you continue to develop this individual through whatever process up this mountain, that safety component has to be established and created. Yep.
100%.
Before you move to level 3, Jess, let's talk about that one.
Yeah. So level 3 becomes your love and belonging needs. So this is acceptance, it's intimacy, it's community. So you're moving from protecting yourself to understanding how you relate to others here.
Mhm.
So this is, and that's where, like when we draw a Maslow Mountain for our coaches, our Maslow Mountain really kind of has three parts because it starts with the physicality, right? So that's your
Right.
food and your safety. And then
Mhm.
it starts to move into the middle, which is more of a connection space.
Right.
And that's where we really spend time at this level 3 talking about the value of community and not being in a silo.
Yes. Yes, for sure. And I'll stay in the one-on-one space here for a second. So the love and belongings. So once you've established the safety component in a coaching space, the love and belonging comes next. Well, what do I mean by that? I can get on there and I can coach you numbers all day long. That's fantastic. And your business can move forward. That's fantastic. But what happens when you have a really bad day? Right? What happens when you get on the coaching call with someone and they're like, I don't want to talk business today. Right. And as Jess said, if you turn into a psychology coach, just be careful, right? Just be careful there. Don't turn into a psychiatrist where you are suggesting drugs. No, I'm totally kidding. Um, this love and belonging space is, do you want me to feel this or fix this moment? Right? Do you want
Hmm.
me to sit here and be there with you as you're going through a hard day? I have worked with clients before, Jess, in the business space who have gotten divorced, right? Or who went through a divorce or who went through really hard times. And if I didn't build the safety space first, they would not have come to me and say, "Hey, Adam, today I need you just to feel this because I'm going through a really hard time and I need to know that this love, this belonging, I can feel that from you right now."
Well,
And
what you're
and that's a good one.
describing is professional intimacy, and
That's right.
that only comes through safety and trust. And so that's why you cannot build trust with somebody without the safety being there and their needs being
Mhm.
met.
Right. Yep.
Because you have to deepen the relationship beyond, oh, I follow you on Instagram, to
Mhm.
really develop that level of intimacy. And
Mhm.
so I don't use that word specifically for, spousal relationships, partnerships, that thing, but I mean it works in this coaching space and in a business space as well.
Right.
And so you have to feel like you can connect with somebody to keep moving them forward towards things and to move them up the mountain at the same time.
Yeah. And the neat part about level 2 safety needs and level 3 love and belonging is they can kind of go hand in hand in the word of trust, right?
Mhm.
Safety is gonna build the trust, and level 3 love and belonging is gonna continue to strengthen that trust, right? It's
For
gonna
sure.
really continue to strengthen that trust because now they feel that in you. And if we're talking in the community space, that community space, if you are leading a community, you're establishing yourself as the authority, and at the same time, they feel connected to everyone else in there. If we look at our own community of I Love Coaching, it's so neat. We had a coach recently come into the community. Another coach in the community already knew this coach, and their interaction inside of there was super cool. It was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you are here," which instantly established a higher level of safety and trust for the
Mhm.
incoming new coach. And there was a sense of belonging right away as well because they knew each
Yeah.
other. And that was so cool to
Yeah.
watch.
Well, and that's where that naturally develops when there is that connection and that intimacy into the level 4, which is labeled as
Yeah,
esteem needs.
that's right.
And so what I mean by that is now it's not just recognition, but it's respect.
Yes.
It's it's more, there's confidence in the relationship, not just, "Oh, hey, I know your name."
Mm, yeah. Those 3 words, respect, recognition, and confidence, right, really pay massive dividends in your coaching space.
Oh,
When
yeah.
a client can feel that, right, that you're recognizing them, that you respect them, that you're establishing confidence in them and they have confidence in you.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, that's a marriage made in heaven of longevity. That's a if you're doing the same thing in your coaching community, right? A whole nother podcast, the 3 Ps, which we've already done, I believe. That is the peer connection space of establishing that, right? Hey, I see our other coaches in here. They have massive respect for each other and they are giving each other kudos along the way. Congratulations on getting 10 coaching clients. Congratulations on hitting $83,000 a month in monthly recurring revenue, right? That is a really cool space. And they're not doing it inside the community from a gloating standpoint, Jess. What they're
Mhm.
doing is they understand the need, right? The need of esteem there, the esteem need, and they're doing it in a safe place that they know they're not going to be judged.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, that's where the fear of judgment falls away very
Yes.
quickly because there is a deeper connection, there's deeper trust, there's now a development of respect, and so there's no space for judgment in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a fascinating thing when you're talking to somebody and you see some level of fear come up, some level of imposter syndrome come up, something like that. They're likely operating from one of those level 1, level 2 spaces,
Hmm.
not a level 3 or 4 space.
That's
And
right.
so if you are talking to somebody who is either a client or potential client and you're seeing some of that fear creep in, it probably means they're lower on these levels than you actually thought they were.
That's
And
right.
so that's why I made the joke about having that filter on your glasses is when you can start to look at interactions with other humans, not to say that you should label them for them, but you can start to recognize kind of where they fall in this. And it can help you with your positioning, with the way that you're showing up, with the space that you're creating to help them because you can't be like, yeah, you're acting like a level 4 right now. Like, that's not going to work. But you can
No.
be like, oh my gosh, the thing that I'm trying to do for you, whether it's connect you with somebody or provide you with a tool, it might not be landing because I thought you were here and you're down here, you
Yep.
know? And so changing your perspective and recognizing that everybody believes they're level 4 or level 5 in everything,
Hmm.
but recognizing where they actually are is wildly different.
Yep. So let's go to the
Mm.
last
Okay.
need, right? So again, all of these are needs. So far, we've talked about the basic needs. Then we've gone to
Mhm.
the safety needs. Then we've gone
Yeah.
to the love and belonging needs. Then we've gone to the esteem needs. And the last one is the self-actualization need.
Mhm.
And the self-actualization need is very, very simple. I've reached my full potential, or I'm reaching my full potential. And
Yeah.
how frequently have we heard that? I want to reach my full potential. I want to reach my full potential. And we're not going to go into the problems yet, but this is a big one that, again, this is the top of the mountain space.
Mhm.
Maslow hierarchy of needs. This is a needs. They need to know that they have reached their full potential. And again, in the coaching space, this is where, with the right lenses, you can see if they are at that ascension to that very top of, hey, I see you've reached your full potential here. I
Mhm.
see you've reached this level of establishing a goal and achieving that goal. There's many things that we can talk about here, but the neat part is the need, this is their need of reaching their full potential is part of this process.
Yeah. I love that we're talking about this because like we said, it's physical needs, then relational needs, and now we're at basically
Oh,
self needs
that's right.
again, but it's like self mentally, not self physically.
Right.
And when I was taught this in undergrad and then again in grad school for education, it was, hey, Maslow's theory was that basically everybody desires, they have a need for self actualization. Very few ever achieve it. And
Uh,
so I find this level very interesting because I do believe that everybody desires to reach their full potential. Like that is a finish line in people's mind's eye, but it
mhm.
doesn't mean that they ever actually get there. And so, again, when it comes to positioning and understanding who you're talking to or who you're working with, you have to understand that they may have set a full potential finish line for themselves,
Mm,
but they're still running the race, which means they're not there yet.
right. Yep. Yep. Okay, so that's the 5 Maslow needs.
Hmm.
We went through all 5 of those. Now, we get to transition to the fun part here, Jess. This is where coaches get stuck, right? And we've talked about it a little bit as we went through each one of them. Though the biggest one that we see, the biggest one that we see is, again, let's go to the visual, the mountaintop visual. You are at the top of the mountain. And coming back to some of Jess's language, you are so unaware of where they are on their own needs space that you're standing at the top of the mountain and you're saying, come on, you can reach your full potential. You've got this. Heck, some of you have that on your Instagram bio. I help people reach their full potential. Womp womp. It's not going to last. It's not going to work. It's not going to attract people because there are people at the bottom who have the desire for the basic needs. Right.
Hmm.
And so if you're at the top of this mountain yelling down, come on, kid, you can reach your full potential. And all they want to do is be able to pay their bills, they're not going to be attracted to you. They're not
Yeah.
going to align with you. And they're, quite frankly, not going to trust you. And that's where you could get, and I'm just speaking from example, personal experience here, Jess, because I lived in this language for so long
Mhm.
of attempting to help people say, you can reach your full potential, kid. And they're like, you're a slimy used car salesman. And I was like, but I don't feel like it. It's because I wasn't meeting them where they were on their needs.
Right. Well, it's literally positioning. And
Mm-hmm.
and it's such a simple concept, and this is why we joke about me needing the tattoo, because I've been telling this to Adam since the day we met,
Yeah.
basically, about
Mm-hmm.
this hierarchy and how it's a filter. And so what coaches struggle with the most, the problem is like you said, their mountain, let's say it's their coaching mountain or their business mountain. It doesn't even
Mm-hmm.
have to be their life mountain.
Sure.
They're standing at the top of their achievement, and they are literally trying to throw a rope from the top of their mountain down to their person who's at base camp, and through sheer will pull them up,
Yep.
right? And if you've ever even tried to rock climb or, play Lion King with like the Simba and the Mufasa hanging off the edge with a friend on a playground, I don't care. Pulling somebody's body weight up anything is difficult. And a playground is 2 feet off the ground. A mountain is hundreds or thousands of feet. You're not
Sure.
going to be able to do it,
No.
which is where the disconnect falls in. So
Mm-hmm.
even if it's your Instagram bio is not connecting, everything else behind that Instagram bio might not connect as well, because you're literally trying to work against gravity. You're
Yep.
trying to work against their preparedness and their ability. Because again, when we were talking about base camp, they haven't packed the backpack. They have no food. They have no water. They
Mm-hmm.
don't feel safe. They don't have the boots. They don't have the carabiners. They don't have the rope. And so you throwing something down to them is not setting them up for any level of success when you're
Mm-hmm.
like, the views are incredible. Come on up.
Right.
And that's why I'm passionate about this. And you got me started.
Well, here's the neat thing. So let's help now. Right. In that's always the biggest hurdle is the positioning from, we'll keep using the word coach because that's who we coach. The position from the leader to their avatar.
Mhm.
Now, let's say you're a keynote speaker. You could actually incorporate all 5 levels into a keynote so it lands with all 5 levels of the people in the audience.
Mhm.
Or if you knew who was in the audience ahead of time, and let's say that it was a top of funnel that was a very simple language. I've helped people put more food on the table. Great. We know we're at the bottom of this. And so our language needs to be aligned with people who have a basic need standpoint. So
Well,
you
you're
can pick,
not at a keynote, you're not going to talk level 5.
no,
So I'm
no,
going to push back on that.
well, but
You're going to
let me
reach
rephrase it. A stage,
I
right?
know, but any stage, you need to be speaking towards the lower levels first, no matter
True,
where you are and where your people are in their journey, because that is going to capture more attention and create more instant connection for you to
true.
develop trust and move them through or up the mountain. You don't have instant trust, so you should not be trying to speak to a trust building space without earning it first.
Well, here's the thing. I agree with that, though in the same breath, you can establish that type of language throughout a keynote if you want to,
Right.
right? Yeah, that's what I'm
To an
saying. You can
extent,
hit the
yes, but
levels
you're
throughout
not
the
gonna hit
keynote.
level 5 in a keynote,
No,
is
you're
all
not
I'm
going to hit
saying.
level 5 and you're not going to close anybody at a level 5. Though in the same thing is to help you in this space is know who, what, where, when, how
Yeah.
on the 5 levels. You are speaking to someone to ensure your language aligns with them to
Mhm.
bring them closer to you.
Yes. So any stage, you should not be talking from the top of the mountain and saying, "The
No.
view is great up here, come
Yep.
on up."
Right. Yeah.
And so instead of trying to pull somebody up, I really think we should talk about the appropriate way to move them up the mountain.
Okay. Let's do it. Okay. So, well, again, it's. I think we've already done that in explaining each level here. So it depends on what coaching space that you are in, right? So there are approaches for establishing trust, which we've talked about, right? It's if you're in a sales cycle and it's a one-on-one space, you're going to do an introductory call first, right? And you're going to establish some of their basic needs right then and there with your curiosity questions. Because if you get on an intro call and it's all about you, want you lose. Okay.
Mhm.
Then when you go to the deep dive, if you're using our deep dive script, you got questions 2A, B, C, and D, where you are going to establish trust.
Mhm.
So right then and there, if you're going into a one-on-one space, you're actually done because now you know their basic needs and you've started to establish trust. And so it's okay to go into and say, this is how I help people move forward.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and you saying all of that is establishing that you understand where they are, not
Hmm.
speaking to where you are.
No,
And a great way to do that is we've talked about this language before with Donald Miller Story Brand is you are their guide up the
that's right.
mountain. You are not throwing the rope down the mountain. And so
No.
this is you're meeting them at base camp, making sure their bags are packed, making sure they have the right equipment as the guide. And I mean, you can use, if you want to use mountain language, a Sherpa,
Sure.
and the reason they trust you or they start to trust you is because they know that you've done this already. So you have
Hmm.
experience in it, but you're not standing at the top just going, "Come on, don't forget to put that in your bag." You're actually
Hmm.
standing there next to them and walking them through the process. And
Right.
that to me is the place that every coach, consultant, speaker, trainer, whatever has massive opportunity is to convert themselves from the hero that looks like they've flown to the top of the mountain with their superpowers, saying, "Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, you should look at the view," to turning into the Sherpa guide that walks alongside the client
Hmm.
and helps them get to the outcome arm in arm or
Yep.
carabiner and carabiner instead of, just telling them what to do directionally.
Yep.
And so
That's
that
true.
to me, again, like I said, big, big difference in positioning.
So that was good because you started to tease the next one. Our next episode here is going to be, what does your mountaintop look like?
Mhm.
And as you now learn these 5 needs, is how do we explain what this mountaintop is that they can achieve once they go through their 5 phases? As they go from their base camp to summit, that's what we're going to teach you language wise, a little bit language wise, but also through these needs standpoint next. But just don't give too much away.
Oh, I'm not trying to, but I'm also laughing because this is one of our longer episodes and I feel like I
I
haven't
know.
talked about anything yet.
I know.
And
We
that's why you said it could
flew
be
through
3
time.
hours easy because of the fact that this is such a relatable thing
Yes,
to any industry, but it's especially applicable to somebody building a coaching business.
that's right. Yep, I couldn't agree more. Okay, so we got to stop. We got to stop because we could be here for the next
Dang
two
it.
and a half hours. I said 3 hours. So thank you all for listening. And what we want you to do, we teach this, we coach this, we share this. Just are we going to give the picture in the show notes? By the way, the
Nah,
Maslow.
I can't publish it in the show notes.
Sorry, guys.
So what they'll have to do is they'll have to hop into our Get Paid to Coach guide. We got some of the
Mhm.
language around there. And that also allows them to get in our email list where we give more of this information out.
Gotcha.
So if you head over to ilovecoachingco.com, go ahead and grab a copy of that free Get Paid to Coach guide, because this is where we start having these conversations and really help people figure out whether they're trying to be a hero or a Sherpa.
That's really good. Okay, go do that. We'll see you next time. See you. Bye.
Bye.